war in Ukraine and US President Joe Biden's message to the Russian government, Putin has said that Russia should stand ready to resume nuclear weapons tests, announcing the suspension of its participation in the New START treaty, the last remaining nuclear arms control pact with the US. After the United States announced a $500 million arms package for Ukraine, Putin accused it of openly declaring its goal of inflicting a strategic defeat to take control of Russian nuclear facilities. Putin argued that while the US has pushed for the resumption of inspections of Russian nuclear facilities under the START treaty, NATO has helped Ukraine mount drone attacks on Russian air bases. The New START treaty, signed in 2010 by US President Barack Obama and Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, limits each country's nuclear arsenal. The agreement also mandates on-site inspections to verify compliance. Just days before the treaty was due to expire in February 2021, Russia and the US agreed to extend it for another 5 years. But in the middle of the Ukraine conflict, has Putin sent the nuclear alarms ringing once again? Dr. Sergey, he is the president of IDC Russia and director WHD International Board. Dr. Sergey, it's a direct threat. Vladimir Putin here hasn't really camouflaged the way he looks at this war and the role of the West. So, is the world now prepared for what will be an evident escalation of this war?
First of all, we can see that escalation, it's not coming from Russian side. During the visit of Joe Biden yesterday to Poland, we can see that the American leader start with the words that he will increase financial support and weapons support of Ukraine. And he didn't say anything about peacemaking dialogue. Before election, we can see that he was very cruel, he was very close-hearted, because he didn't mention about any particular possibility to put both sides to the table of conversation, of negotiate peace. We can see that it's only Russian reply to the current situation. During the leaders of Western countries, they put sanction on Russia, but frankly speaking, they put sanction on their own population, because we can see it's a psychology effect that all population of Europe are suffering a lot without energy. All European countries, they have a protest movement right now in France, for example, and all Western media, they try to be quiet about this. But frankly speaking, we can see that Russia never was in some aggressive. Our reason to only security of our own nation. That is a main reason of special operation in Ukraine.
But Dr. Sergey, here is Vladimir Putin, who says that Russia has been a patient negotiator, but if anything, US and the world is seeing Russia as an aggressor.
Yes, that is a blind vision of Western politicians, because we can understand right now that during all the history, we have a lot of challengers. It's a not quite new situation for us. Who was a main, we can say, winner, and which country did a lot contribution during Second War to defeat Hitler, to defeat this fascism. Of course, it was Russia.
Okay.
Everybody knows.
Alona,
everybody knows.
The entire world was watching this State of the Nation address, because it was coming just ahead of the first anniversary of Moscow's offensive in Ukraine. But this point that has been made by Vladimir Putin, in which he says they want to inflict a strategic defeat on us and try to get to our nuclear facilities at the same time. He is saying clearly that the West is hypocritical, and if anything, he has not started the war. The war was started from the other side. I mean, Dr. Sergey, is this more of a desperate messaging that is coming from Moscow?
No, that message which was spoken by Vladimir Putin, it's our reply for the challengers, new challengers. We can see that right now is not a war between Russia and Ukraine. First of all, that is a conflict of civilization, western part of the world, superforce, American politicians, which involved all European political leaders to this conflict, particular conflict, is usually the practice of American policy.
Okay, Dr. Sergey, here is Vladimir Putin saying that despite all sanctions from the West, which were designed, according to him, to make Russian people suffer, it has not succeeded. And he has claimed that the share of Russian rubles in international transactions has actually doubled. But we know the fact, the tension is there. It may not have succeeded completely, but one thing that is becoming increasingly clear is that Russia here is being seen as expansionist.
Yes, we can see that the conflict of civilization, western and eastern part of the world, is dramatic, and the financial war is like a continue of the real weapon war. But we have such a positive things that rupee rubles transaction already start, and Russia start to negotiate with other Asian countries and Eastern countries with trading very positively. But first of all, I want to reply to the lady. I'm very sad to say this, but it's true that right now Ukraine is a colony of USA.